Do you like paying too much for car insurance? Do you like Mexican cartels? Then you've come to the right place. Listen to the Two Critical Podcasts. We talk about film and TV and pop culture, and we hate on a lot of it. But don't worry, we have objective opinions, so open your mind and enjoy the Two Critical Podcast. Tell your friends about the Two Critical Podcast, and if they don't like it, get some new fucking friends. Two Critical Podcast. If you don't like us, go fuck yourself.
You serious?
Rolling, sound, speeding, and action. Hey everybody, welcome to Two Critical Podcast. My name is Thomas, and this is Rob, and this is the Two Critical Podcast. If you've ever watched a show or a movie and you've sat back with your friends and you've spent most of the time after the movie or the TV show critiquing what you just watched, and you've had a lot of good laughs about it, then you understand what we're trying to achieve here. Now, we are objective guys, and if something is good, we will celebrate it, we will praise it. If something is bad, we will attack it. And it just gives us joy. There's nothing more exciting, I think, than to hate watch something that is terrible with a close group of friends. And that is exactly how this podcast got started. Rob and I would have conversations a couple times a week, usually on Mondays after watching The Walking Dead. And we thought our conversations were so much fun and entertaining that we had to unleash it on the world. So here it is. If you enjoy it, so be it. If you don't, please go fuck yourself. And with us, as always, is Rob C.F. McGillicuddy. Rob, how are you now?
Good, and you?
Not so bad.
Good. You ready for a shot?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
First,
Cheers.
so here's to episode 1.
Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Shots!
That was just delightful.
It's probably watered down.
They know what we're doing. They can tell.
So, yeah, just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, I think that's the thing that I appreciate about our conversations. And in regards to watching things that we can objectively like something and complain about it. And we can also dislike something and say, it wasn't good, but this was good, or these parts were good. I feel like too often everyone I talk to, like, you got to love or hate everything. And that's just not how I operate. And that's how, the name really does suit us, because we're critical of the things we like. I mean, we're hypercritical of the things we don't like, but even if we watch something and enjoy it, we can say that was really good, but I didn't get this part or why they did this. And I think too often it is an extreme one way or the other. People can't recognize the good in things they don't like, and they can't recognize the bad in things that they do. So hopefully we can kind of meet somewhere in the middle. Like you said, Walking Dead for a while was one of our favorite shows, and we love talking about it. And then in our opinion, it got really bad. And I think we probably have more fun now than we used to when it was good. So I enjoyed the show more when it was good, but I enjoy our antics and side bull crap and trolling people on Twitter when it's bad.
100%. And one thing I'll say too, you said, if people either like something or they hate it, there's no middle road whatsoever. You can actually find normal, level-headed people that can enjoy things and critique them at the same time. There's a difference between someone that just goes out and tries to destroy something just for the sake of doing it, right? And God forbid you voice your opinion somewhere on social media and people, the first reaction they come back with is, you're a troll. Well, that is the 2020, 2021 version of not being able to have a debate. When you have a debate, one side has facts that they know about both sides of the issue, not just one, right? Too often nowadays, your opinion does not trump the facts of what is actually happening. You can just apply that, go ahead and apply that to your whole entire life, and you should be okay. Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case nowadays. You can watch something that's so incredibly wonderful, that's so amazingly crafted, like a show like Game of Thrones, and you can appreciate the amount of money that gets poured into it and the amount of craftspeople that it takes to pull off a show like that. And every episode was groundbreaking, and they would set records with the stunts and the sets and the locations and things like that. And when you're invested, and I'll say this about anything that you like, any movies or TV shows, when you're invested in something as a consumer, you are the one who is allowing that show, is giving that show the ability to continue to move on, to make more seasons, to make the sequels. If people didn't go to see movies, they wouldn't want to make 2 or 3 of them or turn them into theme parks. It just wouldn't happen. So as the consumer, I feel that you do have a voice in what you like and what you don't. And the difference is an objective person should take that feedback and hear that and say, you know what, this is what the people are saying on the internet. So maybe we shouldn't do this, or maybe we should do that, or maybe we should take the fans, take what they're saying into consideration, since they've been with us for 8+ years or 10+ years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it too, our opinions tend to come from a little bit of a different angle. So I give you a hard time because you often look at things from a technical standpoint. So you've worked for years professionally, and even before that in an amateur level, making movies, videos, commercials, and I know a lot of times I give you a hard time because you might argue about the way someone's holding a gun where I might not care as much. Right. And you use the line, well, be a professional. It's just, knowing what you're doing. And I think a lot of it depends on what the show is. If you're making the other guys with, Farrell and Wahlberg, you can get away with kind of holding a gun the wrong way.
Casper!
Yeah, but if you're making Jarhead or Hurt Locker, you'd like to see the Marines holding their gun in an appropriate setting. So that's something that you care about more than I do. I think one of the great things is we've disagreed, not all the time, but we've had times where something new comes out and you like it or don't like it and vice versa. But again, I think the key is being able to recognize what you do or don't like, but still seeing kind of the forest for the trees with what's going on. You and I today had a debate with someone online about DC versus Marvel. And I think a lot of people hear me saying that I prefer Marvel and they go, oh, well, he just hates DC. Right. Batman's my favorite superhero. I'm with you. The Nolan trilogy was my favorite. Yeah. Yep. I mean, Batman is that's why it pisses me off so much that DC can't get it right. It's not because I dislike DC. It's because I'm disappointed because that's my favorite. When Marvel first started coming out with their movies, I wasn't jacked up to go see Iron Man. I was excited for Captain America, but I wasn't expecting what we've had, this longevity, this run of all these movies tying together to tell this ridiculously long story. And now we're getting TV shows that are incorporated into it. And, I have movies that I don't like that they've made. We've talked about it before. I think Iron Man 3 is garbage. You like it. So, yep. We can disagree. Thor 2, other than introducing the ether, I don't know anyone that liked Thor 2. Right. Compared to the other movies. But the problem is DC just tried to rush and attain what Marvel had. And, someone today online was arguing with me saying, oh, well, DC's got the better animated. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that like Marvel's animated stuff. And I also don't think anyone's measuring Marvel DC over their animated series. Like, let's get real here. We're talking about the two franchises and their box office success, and not even success. Because you know what? Plenty of movies that are terrible are successful. Correct. But the level of interest, the passion, and the guy today that we were arguing with saying that, oh, I'm a child and Disney Plus was built for children. Like, Disney Plus is the backbone of Disney Plus is Star Wars and Mandalorian and Marvel. Now, I understand for children and for, revenue streams, they have all the Disney stuff. And don't get me wrong, that's why they're geniuses, because they've got something for everybody on there. Again, I'll trash DC all day long, but I'll also tell you what I like about it too. And for me, it's more that I wish there was more of the stuff I like, and the level of disappointment that they can't get it right, considering the resources they have and the amount of people that want to do these movies. And, again, I didn't mean to turn this first episode we're doing into a DC Marvel thing, but that's kind of what's fresh in my mind after the person we were arguing with online today. No, I was just saying, I think we feel the same about Marvel DC, just in terms of the depth that one has gone to tell a story the right way, and the way the other one has just rushed it. And it just, I think DC wants what Marvel has, but they're not willing to put in the work to get it. And I get it. 20 years of making movies and telling stories. I mean, we didn't see Thanos in a real capacity they started teasing it, 10 years before we actually saw it on film. I mean, they laid the groundwork
right
over a long, long period of time.
Yeah.
And DC just doesn't have that. When Steppenwolf came on camera, not once did I give a crap. Oh my God, Steppenwolf's here. And there was just no part of it that felt like anticipation was there. I mean, again, I love the Nolan trilogy. I think as far as comic book goes, it's the gold standard. And I think that Marvel took a lot of his ideas in terms of, let's make it as realistic as we can. It's going to be set in this comic book universe, but let's not just say that things happen because they happen.
Right.
Let's try to give reasoning and backstory to all of it. And that's to me why it's so much better. And I don't understand how anyone can see it another way.
I understand that people like what they like. I tell people all the time that there's a movie for every person everywhere. There's a genre for everybody.
Yeah. And that's, I can't stand the crowd that the contrarian and it's not always Oscar related, but I try to watch most of the movies that are up for Oscars, or at least the best picture stuff. And some of the movies over the course of time, I can't believe win best picture. And more importantly, I can't believe are mainstream success. And a lot of it's in between, right? A lot of it is not the extreme one way or the other.
He's going to rue the day he came up against the extreme, baby.
I told you recently about a couple of guys that do the movie ranking website that I think the two guys that do the movie ranking site are great. And I love their content on Barstool. And I think they're very smart, very funny. They just interviewed the Russo brothers the other day.
Yeah.
They did Paul Bettany. And then actually, so Lights Camera Barstool is the one I'm referring to.
Okay.
But, I looked at their top 10 all time, like all time movies, top 10 all time. And I don't even like some of the movies on their list. And that just goes to show you can respect someone's opinion, but still differ. I mean, there's certain things that we're just never going to agree on. And I say I mean me and anybody, me and you, me and this random guy that I'm arguing with online. But when it comes to the Marvel DC, I almost think a lot of the opinion is taken out of it. And I mean, he even said today that, DC fans are edgier and darker and they don't like the childish stuff. And he was excited for the R-rated Snyder cut because he'd get to see heads chopped off. Batman chopping heads off in the Snyder cut? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll come on here and say I was wrong if he does.
It's also the same group of people that love what they're seeing from the new Batman, and they say, oh, yeah, we're Batman fans, but then they want to see Batman kill people. Well, which is it? Is it the guy that everybody puts on a pedestal because he doesn't kill anybody, or do you want to see him actually kill people?
Well, and for me, Batman's one of the hardest ones to even talk about because I think the new trailer for the Pattinson movie, it looks surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I think the Riddler looks dark. I didn't get much of a read on the Penguin and how I feel about Colin Farrell as the Penguin, but I like the direction they were going in. I thought Batman, that scene with the guy in the alley, when he beats the life out of the guy, I thought that looked great. Here's my problem. In Marvel, Chris Evans is Captain America. Tony Stark is Iron Man. And I get like recasting can happen. Don Cheadle, it happens.
Right.
But in Marvel, in DC, if I say to you, DC Universe, who's Batman?
Michael Keaton.
Well, but is he? Because, I mean, I'll just assume that Bale is out the window because that's done and over.
Right.
But there's a new Pattinson movie coming out. Affleck is in the Snyder cut. They're talking about doing a new one with Keaton in The Flash. Like, there's no continuity at all. Yeah. And it's the same with the Joker. It's bad when your lead superhero in your universe and then his number one nemesis and maybe probably the most popular nemesis in any comic book movie, I would argue, the Joker.
Yep.
I mean, comic book, Joker's the most iconic out there, right?
Yep.
So when Keaton's Batman, it's Nicholas. When Bale is, it's Ledger. When Pattinson is, we don't know what exists for that universe. Right. I don't know if it's Leto, if it doesn't happen. And then Joaquin Phoenix is off on his own. I mean, in a matter of 10 years, we're going to see 3 different people play the Joker on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is levels of Marvel's Fantastic Four back in the day. And I've got news for you. Even though I'm a Marvel guy, I trashed all over them when those movies were bad. And then they did the remake that even less people went out and watched and enjoyed.
Yep.
So again, I certainly am not just Marvel's the best, DC sucks. Nothing would make me happier than for Pattinson's movie to do well and have them say, screw it. We're going to rebuild this off of this. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see some continuity and have them be able to move that forward. But I see this movie with Pattinson and I go, oh, I really liked it. But what's it matter? The next time I see Batman on screen, it's not going to be him. It's going to be Michael Keaton.
And you can tell it's not going to go that way, even with the information that came out while they were making the movie about how Pattinson didn't want to work out.
Robert Pattinson, if they want a fucking Batman who can't run or who hurts his fucking hips every time he starts to fly, they could cast me, Robert Pattinson. You better get up, do some fucking push-ups, and be grateful you got fucking cast in the movie, motherfucker. You're playing Batman, okay? Get down and give me 20, motherfucker, or they could cast me.
You know, and you and I have talked about this all the time. I will never, ever understand how these people that grow up, they want to be actors, most of them their whole entire lives.
They get their dream role.
Yep. So this kid's old enough to have grown up with all these Batmen on
He's
camera.
younger than me.
Oh,
months.
okay. All right. So
yeah, he grew up with Keaton's Batman.
Right.
And then, I mean, so this guy was just getting into acting and in his young 20s,
Yep.
watching Christian Bale and what he did on screen.
Right. So
And-
everybody wants to have this dream role. They dump it to your lap, something like James Bond or a huge superhero lead like this. And normally it takes guys at least a couple of films before they publicly get tired of it. And you hear the reports start to leak online. The same shit that happened with Chris Evans and the same shit that happened with Robert Downey Jr. Oh, I don't know if I want to do it. Oh, I want to go work on my passion projects. I don't understand.
Even Daniel Craig, I mean, I understand that stuff happens, but Daniel Craig's been doing it for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
the movie, how can Pattinson be talking like this when the movie hasn't come out yet?
Didn't want to work out.
Look at Chris Hemsworth. I mean,
it's you can't even. If the guy doesn't want to commit, and then they said that they were doing so many takes that he was physically exhausted. Well, that's probably connected. The fact that you're not doing any workouts and you don't want to do multiple takes. This is a dream.
but don't audition for these roles then.
But
But
they don't have to. People just go and seek them out and they bring them in. Nobody has to work for stuff anymore, which is crazy. I think every single person that gets a part should have to get put through the same process that a day player would, or anybody working on their first film. They should definitely have to go through an audition like everybody else.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, unfortunately, the way this world is now, if you've got a star that you want to attach to a project, they're not going to put them through that ringer. In fact, they're going to just coddle them and say whatever they have to get them to sign the, dotted line. And in that way, they can put their name and picture on the poster. And that's all they care about.
Hollywood wants to make sports movies. Do they get actors that can skate or skaters that can act?
Yep.
What are they going to do? What's a toss up?
Yep. They're going to get actors that can skate.
They're going to get Russell. They're going to get Russell Crowe, who can't skate. They're going to get what's his name?
What do you got against Mystery Alaska?
I got a lot of things. We're going to pause right now to take a quick break. Be back after this. This episode of the Too Critical Podcast is brought to you by Chris's Clippers. Chris's Clippers, when you absolutely positively have to have someone cut your hedges who has a 4-year college degree. Chris's Clippers. Call us today. If not, go fuck yourself.
Speaking of Marvel.
Yeah.
WandaVision.
Here we go.
4 episodes in. Crazy rumors everywhere online about what's coming up. Paul Bettany said that he got to work with someone new on this movie and he was really excited for it. And Elizabeth Olsen comes out and says there is a Luke Skywalker Mandalorian type situation.
Right.
So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched The Mandalorian, I don't know what to tell you.
Tough shit.
Yeah. So I don't even know what that could mean. I mean, some of the characters I'm about to name, obviously, I know are not going to appear in the show.
Right.
But a Luke Skywalker type appearance? I mean, that's a Wolverine. That's
it makes no sense to me to have Luke Skywalker come into WandaVision.
Yeah. No, but that
maybe
is
Chewbacca.
Doctor Strange doesn't cut that. I like the Doctor Strange character. I didn't love Doctor Strange 1, but I thought it was a necessary movie to set things up. But Doctor Strange is not Luke Skywalker. I mean, Luke Skywalker, you're talking Professor Xavier, you're talking Magneto, Wolverine, Reed Richards. Someone new that we haven't seen, which maybe I'm interpreting it wrong, but it sounded like she was saying they introduced someone new, insignificant.
So they kind of dabbled into that a bit when they were having the hallway conversation with Rambo, and she was talking to the guy that was the head of SWORD.
Yeah. As
they were walking down the hallway, and he mentioned the fact that their space program went tits up because they lost all of their people with the blip, and the people that they have left, they don't have any nerve left. So that could be the Fantastic Four.
Well, and the other thing I wonder too is, we've talked about, you and I, the whole Mephisto storyline. Maybe I'm overthinking this Elizabeth Olsen line, and maybe she's just referring to Nightmare or Mephisto. I think anyone that knows anything about the comics agrees that Agnes is Agatha Harkness.
Right.
It looks like in the next trailer, for the first time, we kind of see someone else pulling the strings.
Pull the string! Pull the string!
There's the scene where she's next to Vision and Wanda, and something happens, and she goes, "Do you want to take that back and roll it from the top?" Which is very telling, because until now, it's only been Wanda that can rewind things and reset what's going on.
Yep.
So again, maybe that big thing she's talking about, maybe I'm overthinking it, saying Magneto, because, obviously in the comics, Magneto is Scarlet Witch's father.
Yep.
Which I think will come into play. I just don't think it will come into play during WandaVision. If I had to guess, WandaVision is going to set it up. I wouldn't be surprised if Wanda borderline finishes the series appearing like the bad guy, and we find out down the road it's Mephisto pulling. Right. And I'm guessing we'll find that out more in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I have a feeling that the end result of this show is going to have something to do with opening up the multiverse. And then we're going to see it really take place in Spider-Man 3. And then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be him trying to put all the pieces back together, because nothing's going to make sense. I read something online today that when Chris Evans returns, it will be as Captain America, but not the one that we knew.
How is any of this supposed to be helping me?
One from a different multiverse, which you and I've talked about. They can do this with anybody. They have unlimited ability to bring back whoever they'd like to bring back, whenever they'd like to bring them back.
It's going to be the Captain America that doesn't drop cockpicks.
It's going to be the one who has America's ass when the other Captain America kicked the shit out of him.
That is America's ass.
Another big thing that I saw was Chris Pratt might have spilled the beans about the Guardians of the Galaxy appearing in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Is that why he was on the internet today?
Did you not see this?
Is that the only reason he was online today?
Did you see what happened?
Well, R.I.P. Chris Pratt is trending online.
Oh yeah, that's definitely why. He was talking with Tom Holland. I think it was on like a Zoom thing with fans or whatever.
Oh, Jesus.
And he said, "Yeah, I'm heading down to Australia soon to film Thor: Love and Thunder." And Tom Holland's face just kind of went, and he said, "What?" He said, "Are you supposed to say that?" And Chris Pratt goes, "Why? Do people not know that?" "Oh yeah, I mean, they're gonna find out, whatever."
Right.
And again, I do think whatever Thor's first appearance is after Avengers Endgame, I think we all would assume that the Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in it. It would be weird if they weren't. I don't know that they'll be an integral part of it.
Right.
It might be him, screwing around with them for the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then they drop him off somewhere because Gore the God Butcher's looking for him, or who the hell knows. And Matt Damon's now been cast. We don't know what his role is. Matt Damon. I saw one person online thinking he was going to be Beta Ray Bill. I don't know much about that character at all. I just kind of hope that Matt Damon is in a movie as Beta Ray Bill next to Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
All right, let's just get you paid, Thor Odin, son.
Yeah, it's my name, William Costigan Jr.
Of course it is. The god of thunder. Of course it is.
It looks like the direction they're going with WandaVision after that last episode we're going to see far more of the back end with Sword and what they're doing. I'm curious to see what happens. The reality that she can change things inside that bubble, and then when it comes out of the bubble, it's the same. So when Monica Rambeau goes in, she looks one way. Then she's dressed in different clothes, has an afro.
Right.
Wanda throws her out of it. She comes out with the afro and the old clothes.
Yeah.
The beekeeper there, when the beekeeper came through and had the tether, and they pull it back out, and it's a jump rope again. If she sends Vision out of there, we're all assuming Vision's dead. Yeah, I'm just curious as well with like Tommy and Billy, becoming Wiccan in Speed. Again, that life, how it was created, what it can be afterwards. Is Mephisto going to try to absorb them, take them from her? I told you I was not looking forward to the series very much. Based on the initial trailers, I sent you a text and I said, I have a WandaVision prediction for you. And you said, all right, let me hear it. And I said, I'm going to hate it.
Yeah.
And that's what I thought. I thought it looked kind of stupid. I thought it looked gimmicky, and it was 100%, but I love the way they did it. And I love the different sitcoms. And I mean, we've still got 5 episodes left. So who the heck knows what we're going to see next with some Full House stuff, maybe some Fresh Prince, who knows
Right.
What they're going to do with the set and the storyline. But I would love to see, where this is going in terms of the greater story with the MCU. And, we were promised that this was going to pay off into Doctor Strange pretty much. And I think we've already seen enough to go, okay, yeah, it's going to happen. This wasn't done. And shame on me for thinking that Marvel or Kevin Feige or Disney, because that's what I thought. I thought they were making the show just to make it, and I didn't understand it. And again, that's stupid on my part to think they would do that. Rapid fire, first thing you think of, who gets cast for Sue Storm? You think Emily Blunt?
They absolutely do.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jenna Fisher.
Wait, are they not together?
Who is it, Michael? Who?
It's okay.
No. No. Oh my God! Oh my God!
What happened?
I don't know. I think he made out with Pete Davidson.
We had a funeral for a bird. It was a whole thing.
I don't think any of that's real.
You're not real, man.
Okay, so is that your honest guess, though? Because I'm going to guess that's not.
With the success of A Quiet Place,
Yep.
1 and 2.
Oh, I like Emily Blunt. I think she's great. I'm not saying I think she'd be bad for the role.
Yeah.
So I'll go with that. So then now comes the hard part. Who replaces Chiklis?
I don't know. They would get a Dave Bautista type, I'm sure.
Honestly, I don't know how you cast that role. It's not an easy one to do.
John Cena. But he's already,
but then no one would see it.
Strong guys.
And then, Human Torch. Unfortunately, Evans had the persona right. I didn't love him as Johnny, but I could see if they wanted to kind of go out on a limb. I don't know that he'd be good in the role, and I definitely am hedging this. I'm not recommending this, but I could see Zac Efron playing that role. Kind of that young, hotshot,
smarmy, smart ass.
And I think with the right director, I think he could actually do a good job. And I think if you're looking for name power, I mean, if you've got Krasinski, Blunt, and him to go along with whomever's going to play Dr. Doom, which I keep seeing Cillian Murphy out there as a potential Dr. Doom. I feel like that's just people looking at actors that have played comic book characters before and just flipping universes.
Right.
I know Keanu Reeves is coming into the MCU at some point.
Yeah, they'll figure his spot out eventually.
I don't see him as a Doctor Doom though.
No.
Because I think Doctor Doom is going to have to be tied to many, many movies. It's I think the future of the MCU is going to revolve around Kang the Conqueror and Doctor Doom, if I had to guess. Kang the Conqueror is going to be played by Jonathan Majors in the so Jonathan Majors is playing Kang the Conqueror. That's already announced. So I hope Doctor Doom and him kind of team up at some point as the main villains. I mean, we still have the Sovereign to deal with from the end of Guardians, as well as Adam Warlock. So again, just they have so many different characters and villains, and we haven't even touched X-Men. I mean,
Yeah.
that X-Men's bigger than the MCU. What the MCU has done so far, X-Men's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. And what I love about X-Men is it actually brings in like multiple villains to actually combat. So the whole, like, instead of 7 Avengers versus Thanos, one of the things I kind of loved about the Spider-Man potentially doing the Sinister Six and seeing something like the Negative Avengers or the X-Men is having that good versus bad war where it's actually a big fight with one side versus the other. I mean, obviously we got the ultimate payoff at the end of Endgame,
Right.
but they could do this as a more sustained movie by movie option.
It was almost like the G.I. Joe character in a sense. They always, if there was a G.I. Joe character, Cobra had the bad guy version of that.
And they were always both ninjas or both warriors.
Correct.
Or both. Yeah.
Yep. They always had somebody to square off with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gone from Marvel versus DC to WandaVision to casting the Fantastic Four.
Yep. And I will say, without being too critical of a lot of the things that we talked about, so take that, put that in your pipe and smoke it, you pricks.
So to the 17 million or 3 people out there that listen to this, if you liked it, tune in next week. We'll try to get some more crap that hopefully you like too.
Oh, I mean, we're going to have, look, we're setting this up now. We're doing it via Zoom because we can't be in a room with each other without being extremely profane and doing over the pants stuff. We're going to do it via Zoom for a little bit. We're going to have guests on. There's going to be some celebrities on. There's going to be people that I've worked with in movies and things like that. People that work in the comic book industry. Some people that do some Comic-Con work, photographers, actors, stuntmen. Yep. And other than that, we're going to have some friends on that we think are extremely funny. We just mashed them all together.
Yeah, we've had a few cracks at this. We got some really good material that we'll probably cut up and put on the Instagram account and probably on the YouTube channel too. Bear with us. We're working on it. We'll try to get better every day, and we're on to Cincinnati.
If you want to drop us some dirty messages on Instagram, it's @2criticalpodcast. That's the handle.
On Twitter @2critical.
There you go.
And YouTube, we'll put a link on probably both of those to get
in the description bio, and smash that fucking like button. Smash that like button like you're an exchange student and you've got one night left before you go home. Just smash that like button.
Smash that motherfucker like you're Albert Pujols and it's a baseball. All right, Tommy, I'll talk to you later.
That is the end of the first episode of the Two Critical Podcast. We hope you had a good time. If not, go fuck yourself. I'm Thomas, and that's Rob. If you enjoyed the show, please come back and give us a listen again. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Fins up.
Ra-da-da-da-doo.